Okay, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is to preview the Arsenal versus West Ham game. Can't believe I'm going to say this. Technically, it's a relegation clash. Joining me today for this preview, gosh, I'm so depressed by even saying that. Joining me for this preview is a man's channel I've admired for the last couple of weeks, particularly in the back end of last season, and just got into contact with each other very recently. We're playing each other, so it just makes sense to have him on my show. So please welcome Richard from the Irons United channel. Say hello to the people, Richard.
Oh, thanks so much, mate. It's great to be on. Obviously, nice rivalry between West Ham and Arsenal, a healthy rivalry. Both clubs not in the greatest position at the moment, but both teams hungry for 3 points on the weekend, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it is, with West Ham, they've always been a club I've kind of liked. I've always kind of admired them from afar. You know, but we both have that same hatred of Tottenham. So does every London team. To be fair. But there's always been that kind of healthy banter between Arsenal and United fans. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I've got a lot of friends over here that are big Arsenal fans. Personally, I admire the style of football Arsenal play. I like the new manager that's come in. Obviously, it's going to take time for Emery to install what he wants to do with the team, but already I've seen a few positive signs, even though the results haven't been that great. And yeah, I think we can both agree that we definitely have a bigger hatred for Spurs, definitely. I think most London clubs don't really enjoy Spurs, if I'm honest. So Arsenal's not too bad.
So let's talk about West Ham, because I'm depressed talking about some of Arsenal struggles. So let's talk about West Ham. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little bit surprised that you guys are where you are, especially last week's result with Bournemouth. I mean, to me, the amount of investment that you guys spent, I would have thought you'd have had at least a point by now. Is it been surprising to you first couple of games?
Definitely the Bournemouth game. I think going up to Anfield was going to be a hit and miss kind of game. I don't think any West Ham fans really expected us to get much from that. And last season we were calling for the owners to spend money. They've put money where their mouths are. They've given us just under £100 million to spend. So really, there's no excuse now. I know it's going to take time. The betting in period is going to be a few games, definitely. Personally, I was disappointed with the Bournemouth game because I really saw that as an opportunity for us to bounce back at home at the London Stadium. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. So yeah, I'm just hoping that Pellegrini can turn it around. Obviously, we've brought in 9 new signings, which is never going to be easy. But unfortunately, in the Premier League, you don't get much time. So he's going to have to turn it around, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Do you think it's a case of they're all trying to bed in and subsequently as a result, not too dissimilar from our situation in that we've got a new manager, it's a new style, it's a new expectation. And I guess for you guys, you also have the new manager, a new style, in addition to the fact that you have so many players and you're just trying to combine everything at once.
Absolutely. I think it's going to take time for Pellegrini to install what he really wants from the players. Personally, I don't think Pellegrini knows what his best starting 11 is just yet. So he's still trying a few variations, especially up in the back four. I'm not sure that Ogbonna and Balbuena will be our 2 main centre backs. We've spent 22 million on Diop from the French league. He's still a youngster, so he can always come in. So yeah, I'm not too sure Pellegrini knows what his best side is, and that's why I think he's using these early games as a trial run for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I do like Diop myself. He was a player that Arsenal were looking quite closely at ourselves. I think it was last summer, and I'm not really sure what happened to that. So I think you have got yourself a good player in Diop. In terms of, let's talk about it. We can't avoid the subject any longer. Mr. Jack Wilshere. Were you happy with this free signing? Because I'll be honest, as an Arsenal fan, I love Jack as a person. As a player, I'll be honest, I wasn't overly fussed that he left. I know not all Arsenal fans feel the same. How did you guys feel?
Mate, it's a difficult one. Personally, to have got him on a free, for me, was a massive steal. There's no denying the potential and the quality of the player. Jack Wilshere has been highly spoken of by the best managers all over the world, and we all know what the problem is, and that's his injury record. And I think that's what all Arsenal fans have got so frustrated about over the years. But there's absolutely no denying his ability and what he can do. So if he can stay fit this season, I think that's one of the signings of the season for us. To get him on a free is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great signing for you guys. And I mean, how have you been? Have you been happy with his performances so far?
I think he's been one of the better players. Personally, our both starting 11s against Liverpool and Bournemouth have been average, but he's been one of the three standout players. I think Fabianski's done a good job in goal. Jack's been decent in the middle of the park. And then Arnautovic, as per usual, has been a threat up top. And other than those three, I haven't really seen much. But there's positive signs definitely from Jack. I think he's someone that is able to carry the ball forward, get different players into the game. He's very composed. He doesn't panic. He's patient, and he brings legs to midfield. Because you look at someone like Mark Noble, he doesn't have the legs. Jack's going to be carrying him this season. And personally, I don't think Noble's going to start much more this season.
Yeah, I must admit. So I speak to other West Ham fans. Some of my friends, they believe that Noble and Jack plays together. But in my opinion, I think if you have a choice between Noble or Jack, I think Noble doesn't even get into the conversation. It's like, well, why wouldn't you play Jack over Mark Noble? All due respect to Mark Noble, but he's always been. You clearly, there's a little bit of a Jack Wilshere vibe when it comes to Mark Noble. Like, you guys know that you really should just get rid of him, but I guess there's this affinity with Mark Noble because he's a West Ham boy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let's find a way to kind of incorporate him into the team.
Yeah, it's hard because, I mean, he is Mr. West Ham. You know, he's a legend of the club. He's grown up in Canning Town in the East End. You know, he's born and bred Hammer. But, you know, there is a time where his role in the squad is going to be limited. And unfortunately, with the style of play that Pellegrini's going to want to play, high press, you know, trying to play possession football, which is something West Ham haven't done in the past, you need legs in the middle of the park. And that's where someone like Declan Rice or perhaps Pedro Aubameyang could come in for me. I just don't see how Noble's going to take us forward. Even as a captain, he's not the same ruthless leader that he used to be. So, yeah, it's sad, but I think it's time for him to move on, unfortunately.
And speaking of a former Arsenal player, another former Arsenal player that you've taken, Lucas Perez, who is a player that, I'll be honest, I'm still heartbroken that he left. Just because I believe that when he's fit, and he's really up to speed, you've got a lethal striker there. Are you happy with the Lucas Perez signing?
Again, I mean, 4 million, that's nothing in today's market. You look at what he did at Deportivo, second most chances created in La Liga behind Messi. I mean, that says something. That says something huge. And you look at the goals he scored, you know, in his brief spell at Arsenal, that goal against Bournemouth, that volley that he just nailed into the corner at the Vitality. He's got that quality in him. So, personally, I think he can do something for us. I haven't seen much of him, to be honest. He's made a sub-appearance against Bournemouth, but I definitely think he's going to have a bigger role to play this season. And I'm quite excited by him, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed. And I'll be honest, he's secretly in my fantasy football team, so I'm hoping he does well. So, I mean, kind of as we look towards Saturday, I mean, I'll kind of name the title of this show, and that is, you know, really it's a must-win for both teams, you know, because, I mean, speaking from an Arsenal perspective, I think most sensible, we're not always sensible, most sensible Arsenal fans would have written the first two games off because it was City and Chelsea. I personally didn't write the Chelsea game off. I still feel it's a game that we could have won. And those are the type of games for me that we should be winning if we're really having serious conversations about the top four. But I am prepared to give Emre all the time in the world. You know, he's brand new in the job, and he's really much like Pellegrini with you guys. I think he doesn't quite know what his best 11 is yet, so he's going to take him some time. And I feel like West Ham, with all due respect to you guys, we tend to have a good record against you guys, even under Wenger days. So I'm fully expecting of us to get a good result against you guys. But what do you guys think? Are you confident, given that we've lost our first two games and we're still trying to find our feet ourselves?
I think you guys personally should be confident going into this one. Yeah, you've lost your first two, but your record at the Emirates speaks for itself. I think other than the 2-0 win we got in the 2016 season at the Emirates, we haven't had much joy there at all. I mean, last season we got hammered 4-1 in the league, lost 1-0 in the Carabao Cup. So I think you guys have got that mental advantage over us. But as you've said, it's 2 managers, 2 new teams, and I think it's probably the best possible time we could play Arsenal because of it's still a betting in period for you guys. You guys haven't established your starting lineup yet. So perhaps that gives us just a bit of hope. But personally, as a West Ham fan, I think most of us would take a point, just to get us on the board. I think 3 defeats in a row would be catastrophic. But from your perspective, I think Arsenal fans are expecting 3 points in the weekend.
Are you guys not almost, I suppose it shows you how far Arsenal have fallen, but are you guys not almost writing that game off? Because you did say yourself that you weren't really expecting a lot from Anfield. Are you expecting more from the Emirates?
If we'd got points in our first 2 games, I think we would have accepted, to go to the Emirates and just try, even if we'd lose. But now that we've lost our first games, I think West Ham fans are expecting a response in some way or form. We've got to go to the Emirates and take the game to Arsenal. We can't sit back like we did at Anfield because we will get battered again. You look at Aubameyang; he's got blistering pace. Our back four is not exactly the quickest. So yeah, we've got to go then. And Pellegrini's under pressure straight already. He knows he's got to put in a performance.
I was going to say, because I was going to come to Pellegrini because, I spoke to a lot of West Ham fans who were very hopeful, but kind of a little bit wary about the fact that Pellegrini was taking charge of West Ham at this stage of his career. For you, given the amount of investment that West Ham have placed, that West Ham have placed in their players this summer, if Pellegrini really doesn't get up and running, do you think he's under pressure for his job?
I think I'll judge him after the first 12 or so games. I think that's when I can get a proper rounded picture of just what he's bringing to the table. At the moment, we have to be realistic. We're 2 games in. There's 36 Premier League games still to go. Obviously, the owners have backed him, and rightly so. I think he's the right man for the job. You look at his experience. He's won the title with City. He's done the job at Malaga. He's managed Real Madrid. He's a huge caliber manager. But at the moment, I'm not really looking too far into what we've seen thus far. It's still a betting in period. I'm trying to stay as realistic as possible, stay practical. I think after 12 games, if we're in a difficult position, then suddenly it becomes a problem because it's not like he can say we haven't spent money. We spent third amount of money in the Premier League. For West Ham, that's quite a big deal. So if he doesn't deliver, then there's definitely pressure on him for sure.
Yeah, I think that I suppose that's where I guess we're in completely different positions from a club perspective, because I think I have to always preface this. Most Arsenal fans are ready to give Emre more time purely on the basis that so many of us called for so much change that we'd be absolutely ridiculous to start calling for the man's head as he starts to change. Whereas I know with you guys are in a different spot. You have to really, Pellegrini is it for you. On paper, the best manager you've had in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, easy.
So, you're talking about a Premier League winner, so he needs to really deliver. And I like Pellegrini, so I kind of hope he does for you guys. Like I say, I like West Ham. I can't help it. I like West Ham. I do like them as a club. Kind of moving on to the game. So normally what I do around now is I talk about something called a hopeful 11. So normally with a hopeful 11, I talk about, it's hard to predict what the manager would do, but it's really getting an idea of what you would do if you were the manager trying to combat Arsenal. And then I will do the same. So what would be your hopeful 11 to face Arsenal on Saturday, given any injuries that you may or may not have?
Okay, cool. For me, Fabianski's had a decent start to his West Ham career, so he'd start for me in goal. I think we'd play 4 at the back. We played Zabaleta at right back against Bournemouth, but I think Ryan Fredericks will come back into the side. He just brings more pace to the right-hand side, and we're going to need that against a team like Arsenal, who are quite quick on the break. Yeah. And then in the middle, centre-back, I think Ogbonna will start, and then perhaps Diop will come in for Balbuena. I think that could well happen. He's itching for his debut. I think he'll get it at the Emirates. At left-back, we have a conundrum because Arthur Masuaku is very good going forward, but defensively, he's not what he should be. And I think someone like Aaron Cresswell would be better suited to the left-back role. So I'd stick Aaron Cresswell at left-back. And then in the middle of the park, I would love for Noble not to start, but I can only see him starting. It's London Derby. I just think Pellegrini will give him the captaincy again. So Noble will probably start. Jack in the middle, Felipe Anderson on the left-hand side, Andre Yarmolenko coming in on the right-hand side. He didn't start against Bournemouth, but he looks to be some player for me. Signed him from Dortmund for just under 19 million. So that's a player. And then maybe he could go to up front, Chicharito and Arnautovic. He could stick with Arnautovic up front. I'd like to see both of them. So that would be my ideal starting 11.
You'd go that brave and stick two of them, my friend.
He's got to go for it. He can't sit back. If he sits back, we'll get our asses smacked.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't expect a lot of people to agree with this 11 because I'm going to drop two people who arguably played quite well against Chelsea. But this would be the team just because, like I said, I think this is a must win. So I don't really want us to fuck around too much. So
yeah.
For me, I would go with Cech in goal. I think he's taken a lot of criticism over the last couple of weeks, really, and hasn't really had that bad of a season. Yeah, he's had some dodgy moments, but I actually think largely he's played okay. So I play Petr Cech in goal. I play. I'm going to trust Hector one more time at right back. Socrates and Mustafi play in the middle. I don't see electric pace from your strikers. So I think it's going to be the physical battle against Arnautovic, who always tends to play well against Arsenal. So I really want us to deal with that threat well. It looks like Monreal will probably get the nod, so I'm fine with that. Monreal will get the nod. I want us to drop Xhaka completely. So I would play Torreira, Guendouzi. Oh, gosh. Honestly, I'd probably play Mkhitaryan just ahead, just in that little three, just because I think in the future, that's where I'd like to see him play. I don't think he's a winger. I think he'll, in future, be a central midfielder. So I play him there, to me. I don't play Ramsey just because I think there's too much noise about his contract, and I don't think his mind will be on the job. The three up top, for me, I play Ozil just behind the two strikers, which would be Lacazette and Aubameyang. I love Iwobi. I think he did excellently against Chelsea, and I understand all the arguments that are about to flood my comment section. Like, what? You drop Iwobi, you played so well. What kind of message is that sending him? I get it. And to be honest, you could make the argument of dropping Ozil and playing Iwobi. And to be honest, I wouldn't argue with you if you decided to do that. But I decide I'll play Ozil in this game. And if he has a shit game, yank him off, replace him with Iwobi, and we're good to go. So that's my hope for 1 to 11. I don't think he'll play that team. But just out of curiosity, let's come to the predictions. Let's come to the predictions. What do you believe the result will be on Saturday afternoon?
Well, the way we've played this season, it's not looking too good. Personally, I'd love for us to take a point. You know, in my wildest dreams, you go to the Emirates and get all three, but I just don't see that happening. I think someone like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is looking to bounce back. He knew he missed chances against Chelsea. He'll be hungry to put the ball in the back of the net. So to contain him is going to be a big struggle. Personally, I'd love for us to get a point. I'm going to be positive. We're going to go there and nick something. I think personally, earlier I said we'll play 4 in the midfield. I actually think we're going to go 1 up top. We're going to flood the midfield with 5, just to try and combat Arsenal. I don't think he's going to go to up front. Just thinking back now. So hopefully we can try get some of the ball. I know Arsenal are going to dominate possession, but if we can try get some of the ball in the middle, maybe we can nick a point. So I'm going to go positive 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Okay. No disrespect to you guys. I fully expect to crush you guys 4-1. Straight up.
Fair enough.
We always concede a goal. So I think you guys will score, and I think it will be Arnautovic that scores. But I fully expect us to do a job on you, and I'll be quietly disappointed if we scrape some sort of 1-0 or even a 2-0 win. I want us to perform really well at home against a team which, no disrespect to you guys, we just have a good record against you guys. So I feel like if we can show up, Aubameyang is on it, Lacazette's on it, I think we'll do a number. But let's see. I've been wrong before when I called for a demolition job. So you never know. But that's pretty much it from us. So thank you guys, everybody, for joining us. And also if you're watching us in the playback. Richard, let the people know where they can find you and your channel.
Yeah, so obviously I'm from Orange United. I'm one of 9 members. I'm actually based in Johannesburg, South Africa. Most of my friends over in the UK. So yeah, you can find us on all socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Orange United. You can find me at Rich Farson. So yeah, anything you want to know about West Ham, follow me on all socials. I'm on everything. So yeah, show some love, guys.
Right. So if you're watching live, bear with me. I'm going to put Richard's Twitter handle in the description below, because like an idiot, I only put the Orange United Twitter handle below. So bear with me while I do that. But if you're watching this in the playback, look below. It should be there already. And you guys should know me already. You crush that like button, destroy it. I am slowly but surely creeping towards that 3,500 mark. So thank you guys so much for supporting. Keep watching. You guys know I'll be back for some sort of review. I know you guys are missing the reviews I'm doing with Ola and Lee and people like that. No doubt we'll be back at it soon. I'm pretty sure Lee's going to the game. Ola might be going to the game, actually, thinking about it. So I'm trying to bribe my mate Chris, who's also going to the game, to give me a damn ticket. So I'll let you know how that goes. But depending on how that goes, I'll either be doing a review there or here. So just stay tuned, guys, and I'll keep you posted. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, drop kick the shit out of that like button, and also follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chin. All right, people, we're out of here. Take care. Peace.